Good now, everybody, and welcome to the show. Come on in, come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Rise Up Morning Show. Because whether you listen morning, noon, or if you're wild like our friend Jim listening at night, it's time to wake up and smell the crypto. We are giving you helpful headlines, commentary, answers to questions about all things blockchain, crypto, and we'll certainly find ourselves in a rabbit hole of interesting stuff along the way. My name is Evan. I'll be joined shortly by my good friend, colleague, and co-host Alex, and hopefully we'll get a lot of our friends on today too. We're live every Tuesday and Thursday for conversations around cryptocurrency for people who are both concerned and curious about how this technology is going to impact our future. If that sounds like you, then feel free to join us anytime in the Discord server, https:/discord/gg or whatever the thing is, discord.gg/the many. It's always going to be free. We talk about this stuff there. It's a great place to ask questions after the show is done. But let me know where you're coming in from. Let me know how you're doing today. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you're a new viewer, then welcome. We hope you like it here. And there he is, the man of the hour, my friend Alex. Let's bring Alex. Good morning. How you doing?
What's up, dude?
Ooh, you got some different glasses on today.
I'm mixing it up today.
Yeah, you feeling a little feeling yourself a little there?
No, the truth is that the other ones got slobbered on by a dog, and they're just horrendous, and I didn't have time to deal with it, so I was like, you know what, backup pair.
That also works okay. That also works okay. I just got on and was just saying hi to everybody. Um,
We
and
did actually wear matching shirts, though.
Yeah, we sure did. Well, I got the long sleeves on mine. You got the tattoos on yours. Um, in January, I just get comfy cozy.
Dude,
I tend to wear the same three sweatshirts over and over again, kind of thing.
take a crack at the temperature today. It's
Oh my God, there, 72.
going to be 80 degrees today.
Are you kidding me?
No,
Wow.
I have
Oh my
79
gosh.
today.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's like it's kind of nice here. Yesterday it was in the 50s, and today I think it's also supposed to be nice. It's rainy here. It's muddy. Ugh, I can't believe you. That's amazing. That's just incredible. I don't know. I don't know how you do it, but here we are. Um, what Alex, what do you know? Have you heard about the game Gas Hero?
No, I have not.
No. I'm going to introduce you to a game. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay. Check this out. I have a couple of good news points for us today, but the first one that I wanted to bring to your attention is about a game called Gas Hero that I heard about literally minutes ago. It's created by, let me find it here. Gas Hero Official is a Web3 game that has recently reached 10,000 players after launching earlier this month, and which has accumulated, according to block.co, $90 million in NFT trading volume.
Jesus.
It is produced by Find Satoshi Lab, the company that brought you Steppen Token, which is one of those move to earn tokens. They recently partnered with Apple to do music in their app. They also have done, since the launch of Steppen, they have launched a DEX, an NFT marketplace, and now Gas Hero.
Sure.
Where again, I don't know anything about the gameplay, but it seems like a PvP strategy type game, which packages characters and skins and other things as NFTs that you might be able to use in the game. Obviously, right up your alley, but I don't know how up your alley it is, or if it's just up your alley on the surface, or how many times I can say up your alley before people think I'm trying to insult you. But I thought you'd be interested in it.
Yeah, I just pulled it up. I'll have to take a look.
Well, hey, Thomas. Hey, everybody who's joining. While you do that, let me invite you. If you haven't done so yet, leave your crypto question in the comment. Leave your news story that you're watching in the comment. We'll get into lots of different stuff today before we leave for the weekend, and then we'll be back Tuesday. And of course, if you're here for the first time, let us know. All our friends returning, MetaMouse, Thomas, it's good to see you all. And feel free to share this, tap the screen. 2 totally free ways to support the show that won't cost you a thing except a little bit of effort from your tiny little fingers and or your very big fingers. I don't know.
Or your large masculine fingers.
You could have very masculine or very large feminine. I don't know. I don't know what you're packing there, but tap that screen and let me know. I'd like to know about it.
Let us know what
I've
you're
been
packing.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. What?
So let us know what you're packing.
Well, Thomas has been watching a lot of monkey videos lately. Cats are done. Sorry, cats.
That's the ultimate hot take of the internet, 2024.
That is the ultimate hot take on the internet. I learned about a new wildcat in the Americas recently, the smallest wildcat. I saved it to show it to Kimberly. She probably already knows about it though. Is its name is escaping me now, but it's like a 4-pound little cheetah-looking guy who lives in Chile. He was cute. He was real cute.
So, Evan.
Yes.
My problem is that today I feel like we have a giant amount of stuff that we could talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
But so I wanted to hit a couple of the news because I highlighted a ton of news today, and I just stopped because I was like, "There's no way we're going to be able to get to all of this."
Yeah.
So some interesting like hype-based pieces about Solana, and it just kind of prompted me to talk about Solana a little bit because I've been like notoriously anti-Solana in the past.
Sure. Okay.
And so I thought that it would be an interesting time to revisit it. Because I haven't changed like my personal opinion about Solana, but I just don't think my opinion matters. I mean, I never really thought that it mattered that much, but I think it matters even less now. Interesting. And then right on the heels of me sending you that thing about how Polygon has not been in the news except for exploits and how, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Ag layer protocol was unveiled, and like the march towards Polygon 2.0 is being talked about now, and all of this stuff came out yesterday, and I'm like, okay, all right, universe, I see you.
Well, you know what? That game that I told you about, Gas Hero, is built on Polygon. Is the other thing that made me think about you.
Interestingly. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to. I want to go into that a little bit too because I didn't know much about like what ag layer was or what some of these other things about Polygon are.
Okay.
And then one of the other people that I am a fan of on Twitter, Jesus Martinez, used to be a creator for Gala Games, and they axed him the other day. And I don't know exactly why, but the rumor is that they're unhappy that people are talking about token price. And
so they fired a guy?
So they fired him, yeah. From their creator program because he talked about the crypto prices too much. But I don't know, there was also some other interesting possibilities there, and it just kind of made me want to talk about the idea of crypto influencers in general and like what role they serve and how we've talked about that a lot, so we don't need to spend much time on it if we even get to it. It's just interesting how you have an entire industry, and pretty much every industry has its like thought leaders and the people who like create content about it, right? Like you think of tech. Marquez Brownlee has been making YouTube content for, at this point, it's got to be more than 10 years about technology. Like arguably, I mean, when a new piece of anything comes out from literally any company, Marquez is one of the first people that gets access to it, and his production quality is so high.
Yeah, sure. He's got a lot of power in that regard.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan. I've been watching him since like I was a little infant on the internet kind of thing.
I honestly have no idea who he is, but if he's doing what you say, then surely he's a major player in who knows what about which tech.
He's one of you definitely. It's MKBHD is the champ.
Okay.
And just take. I would be surprised if you've never seen his face before. Although
I've definitely seen his face before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the most followed accounts on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely. And I can see he's probably moved. I don't know where he started, but now he's reviewing things like the electric Rolls Royce. So doing very well, I would say.
Oh yeah, I mean he's like one of those people that like got a prototype Cybertruck, all that sort of stuff. Like If he's going to talk about something, he gets whatever he wants. But I bring him up just to. Would you stop? I'm in the middle of something. Cut it out. Christine is at the dentist, so the dogs are all in my office, very confused as to why they're not in her office.
I see.
But just because this is such an interesting industry to have like content creators in, because there's only two kinds. There's the ones who talk about price that have all the attention. And there's the ones who don't talk about price that barely have any attention. And you sort of like try to wonder like where do we see the content creator sphere in this industry specifically, like 5 years from now? Is it still that interesting divide? Has one of them just completely gone the way of the dodo? Have the two merged into some sort of, homogenized batch of content? I don't know. It's a weird one because it's so money heavy, you know?
I mean, I think it's kind of like the stock market. You've got or maybe a sector like tech. You've got people like Jim Cramer who talk about the price of Apple stock and other types of investments you can make in companies. And then you've got people who receive gadgets in the mail from Apple and test them, or people who teach you how to use your Apple computer better online, those kind of things. And I think all of them have different types of value that they add and draw different attention for it. If I had to make a bet, I would say expect to see that kind of thing as our industry grows. I think it's dominated by price now because the narratives are dominated by price. One of the interesting things that we don't really have to talk about much, but has come to my attention recently, is this last movement in meme coins, Alex. It kind of touches that. I don't know if you've noticed, but there is a growing social movement to use meme coins to draw attention to social issues, almost like the Wall Street Bets movement started in a Reddit forum. Yeah. And I do think they have a token, but the token didn't capitalize on the meme. I noticed the token. I don't think it's doing anything. It's like 3 days old. Don't buy it. This is, not me telling you to invest in something. But to notice the phenomenon, this token is called US debt.
Oh,
and did you see that one?
Yeah.
So could you imagine if, like, I don't know, it's just like any meme token. President Obama gets filmed with his pants down by some weird Secret Service member, and Obama butt token is everywhere. Chris Rock gets slapped at the Oscars. Will Smith token is everywhere. But specifically launching socially concerned memes as tokens to, raise attention via currency. I don't know how well it translates, but it's another interesting sort of phenomenon that we've never seen before because tokens haven't existed like this.
But one of the ways that we've been sort of speculating lately that the industry would head, right, mm-hmm. is a heavy use of blockchain for a number of different reasons, mostly co-opted by corporate private projects using their own iteration of a blockchain or whatever for something. Mm-hmm. And then you have the decentralized part of it, non-corporate, which would be more, for the everyday consumer, that will probably largely consist of social projects, meme projects, because internet culture is prolific and everywhere and only growing and has been a thing for a long time. And if you could say that one thing about the internet is probably immortal, it's the idea of the meme, right? Yeah. So it would make perfect sense that people trading social capital within the meme world would just stick around. And that's not to say that like buying a meme today is gonna, just make you wealthy later in life, because the other thing that is like for sure sayable about the meme culture on the internet is that it's fleeting, and one goes out of style at the absolute drop of a hat before anyone thinks that it's like time for it to go or whatever. A newer, funnier, whatever comes out and replaces it. So like I imagine that kind of like fleeting attention, like skipping one, rocketing and then falling to zero unexpectedly. Like all of that stuff. I imagine that sort of like ADHD mentality will probably remain. But I don't know.
Well, and I said all that to say I think that could happen with influencers too. It's going to affect
Sure.
the way our relationship to influencers and our own attention evolves. And I can't tell. I'm not confident enough to say what I think is seems clearest in terms of, are people going to become more loyal to a few influencers? Will their audiences grow? Will they be like the meme coins and just, today it's this person, tomorrow it's this person, and nobody ever gets the same kind of Mr. Beast sized audience again? Um, I think I think it's tough to say. Do you have a prediction?
I mean, I think that like influencer culture has been growing as well, and people like just crave, the authenticity of someone that they can relate to in some capacity. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the type of people that are gaining internet notoriety is very different than what it once was. There's rather than having the I don't know if you've ever seen this guy, but he's like just the quintessential, and I don't know him, so I wouldn't speculate to his character, but just surface level shallow influencer is this old guy Zeus.
His name is Zeus. Okay.
So he's got like a massive following, and he's never said a word. Really, all he does is just like strut around in very high end, luxurious clothing and very like fancy houses with
Is he
crazy
like
cars.
Gianluca Vacci?
I have no clue. I don't really know anything about him other than I've seen him in memes every now and then.
I'm looking him up. How did I not know about Zeus?
Dude, it's weird. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he's totally like Gianluca Vacci. His beard looks like if you took shaving cream and put it on your face to make
Yeah.
like a Santa mask. No hate, but dang, Zeus.
So but that kind of like ultra luxury is becoming a niche. Like if you
Yeah.
want that, you want that. But what's way more appealing and like has way more, like mass identity along with it is just like authenticity. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I think that that's only going to grow. I mean, there's a reason that gigantic advertisers and gigantic corporate entities are choosing to promote via small to medium influencers on social media instead, because it's way more efficient and they get a way more specific reach. If you can convince one of those people to leave an authentic message on behalf of your company, like I know for a fact that if I was looking for some sort of like, durable pair of pants for, like outdoor work, I could watch 45 commercials that cost who knows how much during the Super Bowl and think like, I don't know. But then Thorne Bradley is going to be like, this is the one. And I'd be like, yep, that's the one right there. I don't care
Yeah.
about fucking anything else.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
extrapolate that out to, whoever, is if Hickok 45 tells me which holster he uses for like on the range outside the waistband carry of a pistol, I'm like, yeah, dude, I literally don't care what 511 tells me.
Yeah.
Whatever,
That
whatever his
that's
house.
why I said to you the other when we were talking about after I came over to your house, we were talking about what's the goal? What kind of things am I working on? What am I doing? My goal is just to in the world of the internet to help as many people know, like, and trust me as possible. For no other reason than like if I need something in the future, to have a network of people that know, like, and trust me all over the world is going to be the most valuable investment I can make. More than any amount of money, more than any amount of stuff to sell. I don't know. That to me is that's the best thing. Um, I
It's
got to
just
say hi to Nono, who said, "How you doing, Evan?" I'm doing great because that's what we do. We're just I don't know. I like that that's the mission. I like that that's the goal.
Just two people sharing their opinions on the internet.
There's two people sharing their opinions on the internet and trying to help other people get there. Um, get connected to things that matter to them that they might be able to discover through the stuff that we're working on. Sharing proximity. The internet is like big room. You can go stand next to anybody. You could go stand next to Zeus. Um, that's the other thing about them, like a micro influencer. I would consider us to be certainly more like micro influencers than somebody like Zeus. Is I
Oh yeah.
feel like we can really, when people come in our chat, when Nono comes in, I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? We really know each other, and there's this sense of like internet native proximity that you just can't. I don't know if you it's like the Thorne Bradley thing, Alex. If you told me, Evan, you got to go check something out, I would do it. If one of our friends here told me got to go check them out, I would do it. And they're um the other thing I'm noticing with influencers and micro influencers is the audiences they attract, how strange it is that they both do look like them and don't. Like, we obviously have a lot of people in our audience who are, into crypto, but then we have people who are like really skeptical, might never buy it. We have people who maybe fit our description, white guys who wear glasses. But I think we have a lot of people from many places all over the world who don't look or live like us. And that's really interesting to me too, is like the surprising connections when you throw it in the random machine of the internet that you get to make that you wouldn't make if you were just hanging out physically because of your proximity
No,
or your identity.
it's an amazing thing. It truly is.
What other kind of news stories did you have? Do you want to maybe do a bullet list, and I can do a bullet list after, like you do one first and I can do one next, and you can pick and choose and tell me which stories you think are most interesting and we can dig into them.
Sure.
Okay.
So one that's a little bit less crypto, a little bit more, whatever. I wanted to highlight Pal World and at least talk about it because it's everywhere.
Which one's that? I'm sorry, Pal World?
Pal
PAL?
World. Yeah, it's a game that's just like absolutely ripping the
Oh,
attention space right now.
okay.
Um, and the controversy around it is that lots of people are hating on it, saying that they just ripped off of Pokemon, and it's invoking an interesting conversation about like what is, because someone made a great point. It's like how are you going to come down on Pal World for ripping off of Pokemon
Wow.
when I've like never seen you upset about the first person shooter genre in games? Because like pick a war game and tell me it wasn't ripped off of Medal of Honor. Like they all were.
Wow.
So anyway, there's an interesting conversation about just like the influence of other games in other games.
Yeah.
It is. I don't even know if it has a Web3 component to it. It's just been all over. I mean, my Web2, like the people that I follow who make Destiny content are talking about it, and the people who make Web3 game content are talking about it.
Well, and
So
when I looked it up, I see the figure for anybody who doesn't know is 6 million copies in 4 days of this
yeah,
game have been moved, which is huge.
yep, yeah.
Also,
Well,
no, I
Wolves,
don't know what Wolves DAO is. Do you know Wolves DAO?
yeah.
Okay.
I was actually considering applying for it. I haven't done it yet, but I know a couple of the guys that belong to it. It's just it's like a Web3 gaming DAO ecosystem. There's some I think there's some really awesome people that are a part of it, and they make great content.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. You should definitely apply. I'll have to check it out. Another
Hey,
concentric circle. Yeah.
if you have the plug, then let me know.
Yeah,
Because
no. Hook
I like
Alex up, man.
I would like to apply. I should at least apply. Um, Anyway, Core was in the news as well, so I highlighted a story about Core DAO
Wow.
launching an African innovation fund to empower local Web3 builders. I have not read the article yet, so I don't know the caliber of seriousness that is, but it made a headline. I've got some Solana stuff pulled up. I've got some Polygon stuff pulled up. We kind of already hit the influencer stuff. I'm happy to put that to bed for now. Um, and that's pretty much it. I did want to talk about just real quick the Tracer email scam yesterday. Did you
I
see
saw
that?
that right after we hung up and after we were talking about the other email. So what happened? Can you break it down?
Yeah, so I was just sitting at my desk and I got an email from Tracer, and the only reason I looked at it more closely is because they had just had the data breach exploit where a number of people's information was compromised. And so I saw the email from them. At first glance, it looked very legit. It came from no reply at trezor.io, but the content of the email was super sus. So I got it. It basically, actually, I think I deleted it. Oh no, I still have one here. Okay. It just says, "Dear customer, this email is to let you know that your wallet assets are undergoing an upgrade." Oh, first red flag, undergoing a upgrade.
Yeah.
In an effort to upgrade our infrastructure, we are temporarily disabling the following networks, blah, blah, blah. We are requiring action from our users to re-enable the networks. Important. Failure to upgrade your networks could result to full funds loss, which just
Uh-oh.
makes no sense.
Yeah, right.
And then there is just a link to sweet.trezor.io/upgrade. And So I saw it and I was like, first of all, this is weird because the banner image, where's my hand? There we go. The banner image to the email didn't load. It's a broken URI.
Yeah.
So that's sus. It comes from a weird, like the footer is just odd. It doesn't look like a normal Tracer email to me. So anyway, I went over to Tracer's official Twitter, X, whatever, and like minutes before. So in their defense, they were on top of it as quick as they could be. But they just had a huge warning. I made a video about it. A huge warning that was just like, hey, this is an unauthorized email that was sent out by some third party, whatever. We didn't send it. Don't click on anything. Delete the email immediately. We're working on it. Your assets are safe. And then of course it invoked a lot of comments about, the space and blah, blah, blah. And like, we just can't get it together. And I'm like, no, this part's going to get worse. As the space grows, scam attempts like this in traditional methods like phishing, which have just worked for years, are going to continue. They're going to increase.
Yeah.
And I don't think that is a bad thing about crypto. It's a bad thing in general that people scam, but
yeah, sure.
It doesn't necessarily, I don't think it spells doom for crypto that people are trying to scam in it. People have been scamming in crypto since day one. You introduce a new money industry, someone is going to try to steal it from another person who has it, right? Like that's a tale as old as time. And still to this day, the amount of dollars that are stolen every year in Web 2 traditional phishing scams or skimming scams or SIM swap or what's the RFID,
swap, right?
The one where the thing that RFID protects you from, someone can
can snag your information that way. Observing.
Critical.
I don't know what the tech word is for it, but I know what you're talking about.
Someone help me out. It's something that's bouncing around in my brain somewhere. But
yeah.
Anyway, that. It's gajillions of dollars a year. That's a technical. You can look that up. Fact check me. Gajillions.
In fact, yeah.
Metric shitload. But I expect it to pick up. Someone made the comment, this isn't good for the industry. I'm like, no, this is just par for the course. This is what we need to expect. And I hope that more and more and more people just become aware. It's like a golden rule of the internet, right? You never open an attachment or click on a link that's unexpected. Yeah. I don't care. If Evan gets an email from me with a link for something for him to download and I didn't tell him that I'm sending it to him, he should not touch it. He should check with me first.
Yeah.
I will never send someone an attachment that I don't pre-brief them on just because that's just internet courtesy, right? Hey, I'm sending you an email. It has a PDF on it. This is what the PDF is. It's, whatever. And then you send the email.
And it is really heartening. I feel like we've seen a lot of news about just consumer crypto company hacks and all that. We had them on the last show talking about Trezor. That's a big deal. I saw one in the meantime about Cabin. I was digging around. Their Twitter got hacked in their newsletter. So I think it's, we're having a moment right now. But I have been really heartened by and large to see, you were talking about it the other day. We got to trust somebody. These people that I am trusting are who are using platforms they trust, like Twitter, to communicate with people, like MailChimp, are by and large doing good things to secure their accounts, doing good things to re-secure their accounts or communicate about compromises. And I'm really glad that the people who are working on trying to, build these kind of solutions are on top of that stuff. Yeah. I don't know. It gives me a little more confidence that on the way to a more decentralized future where I don't have to think about it, they're trying their best. But scammers be scamming, dude.
If you really think about it, what's the one technological advancement that has the highest capacity to solve internet scams?
Yeah, I would say tokenization.
It's probably blockchain. You raise a good point. Twitter's getting hacked, Discord's getting hacked. Any sort of social platform wherein a money-based company talks to their people. Yeah. Has the ability to be pretty easily compromised. Dude, the government, the SEC's official government Twitter was exploited by whatever. That kind of shit shouldn't happen, because there should be some sort of like tokenized proof of user
Yeah.
to like verify a post or whatever, and governing authority has the the ability to issue the token out or whatever. That's a 16th baked idea that I just farted out real quick, but you know what I mean? Like, they did. If the
But
SEC didn't even have 2FA turned onto their Twitter, then what are we even doing here?
Something to an extend, enhance it, make it easier, make it second nature. I guarantee you, Gary Gensler is not using an authenticator app on his phone, or if he is, he's probably got a master password that's like his dog's name. I don't know. I'm sure he doesn't, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Gary's password is definitely 12345. He is the president Scroob of the SEC for
Yeah,
sure.
What's the Wi-Fi password, Gary? It's free Wi-Fi. SEC
Willem, what's
rules.
up? I would say,
Hey, Willem.
good afternoon, my friend.
Um, okay, so Tracer, they could have lost, they won. What's the next bullet on your list?
That's where I stopped, because I was like, this is a lot of stuff,
A lot
because
of good stuff.
we haven't even
Let me
touched the
hit you with some
Polygon
bullets,
Solana stuff.
and
So
I want you
give
to
me
tell me what you are interested in and buy. There's some interesting, I have some interesting facts and figures about Bitcoin, or Bitcoin adjacent stuff that I thought might be neat to touch on, just because we haven't talked about it except to say ETF and halving.
Yep.
I have some notes about Solana. Their price rose 10% recently. They have been teasing some new token extensions that I think could be interesting.
We have the same one there then.
And also have some kind of meme activity going on, as well as Magic Eden, their popular marketplace, the popular marketplace in crypto, has some interesting news. And then I was going to talk a little. We really haven't talked much about ordinals or the different kind of things you can do now on Bitcoin, and there's been a lot of activity there. People asked a couple episodes ago about airdrops, and I think the Bitcoin community, the ordinals community, that's an interesting place to watch. And there was an airdrop there that was interesting, that has become a valuable piece of digital real estate. What of those stories interest you? Where can I start? I can make any of those as long or as short as you want. Some of them are more interesting than others. And of course, this is to you too, not just Alex. So if Willem, Tori, Angel, whoever's in the comments, if there's something you're digging into right now or that we didn't say, let us know. Also, I forgot this. I have this note. We do have the figure that, according to, where's my source? It was $3.1 trillion in illicit funds flowed through traditional financial channels in 2023. And the comparison for crypto, just so you know, is much, much smaller.
Metric shit.
I wish we had $3.1 trillion again. The good old days.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, I think the Solana stuff is a little interesting, and I wanted to like update my opinion on Solana.
Yeah.
This felt like a good time to do that. But the token extensions thing I highlighted, I haven't gone through it all the way, so I figured we could kind of see, because I'm curious to hear what that's all about.
So what it seems like to me is I have not been through the documents at Solana.com, but it sounds like an expansion to the protocol that is allowing developers to do more stuff with tokens. Specifically, they're talking about features that adhere to regulatory requirements and will enable use cases like, and they say new, which makes me think it wasn't really possible or fun or easy to do on Solana before, building a better stablecoin, leveling up game assets, governance for real world asset issuance, and more. So if I had to guess just without looking, I'm going to say maybe they've just updated their token standards to something like the ERC 6551, which allows NFTs to own other assets on Ethereum. That's like a no-brainer for every other blockchain to adopt for like a game. You want your profile to be able to hold NFTs, tokens, whatever. A better stablecoin, I don't know what that could mean. And in terms of the real world asset issuance was the one that piqued my interest most. And what I imagine it has to do is, maybe fractionalization, maybe mechanisms to issue tokens, to recall tokens, to distribute tokens that weren't there before. I'm not really that well versed in how flexible smart contracts are in the Solana network. But it seemed like from the reaction to this news that this was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, so that's kind of what my first impression was, and I need to look a little more and ask like the Willems and the Daniels of the world, because that's been my gripe with Solana from the get-go. Was the lack of uniform token standardization across the network just makes it a lot harder for people to do stuff, because not every project is going to be using the same token standard. Which just means that, if I were to slim it down to the color example, if Evan is doing stuff on Solana and he's using the blue token standard, and I'm over here on Solana and I'm using the red one, because there's no best practices manual that says which one is the one to use always, we don't get to mesh stuff. We would need to, have our standards. Dude, my neighbors have the audacity to be in their yard.
Alive. So. While Alex is doing that quick, I'll tell you, if you want to read the technical paper, they do have a really good summary document on Solana.com. Who'd have thunk it? It's just a quick PDF, looks like a pitch deck, goes into the original Solana token program, as well as a dozen or so token extensions, and it calls it a technical explanation, but it doesn't look so bad. The tagline is permissioned tokens on a permissionless network. Go ahead, Alex.
So anyway, this just ties into my original opinion. I've said for a long time that I made the joke I'm allergic to Solana, and it's really all just because of that token standard thing. I was like, I don't see how this can be, widely adopted unless this problem gets solved. This seems like a massive deal breaker for me, because who's going to want to come on, and granted, the Solana community has taken upon themselves to just sort of say hey guys, we're going to, use blue all the time. But there's no rule binding that. That's not just the way that things happen automatically. So if a new person who comes on and wants to make something accidentally picks orange, then they're just kind of screwed. They're shit out of luck and they got to get rid of it or change it or do whatever, and it becomes a problem. So I am unable to see how large, entities who might adopt blockchain technology and want to use a decentralized whatever. And okay, I understand decentralized in big, heavy air quotes here for Solana.
Yeah.
But I just mean not corporate, pick an existing big layer one, would use that because that's just seemed like a hazard. Right. And I'm going to go with Avalanche. I'm going to go with Cardano or Multiverse X, who both have native token standards, which are just way better in practice, which is one of my biggest gripes with Multiverse X is that is so cool and it makes NFTs work so well, and they just couldn't give less of a shit. And that is insane to me because they have that massive leg up on pretty much every other blockchain on the planet, and they don't talk about it because they fucking suck at marketing. So stupid.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I've had that thought, but Solana has continued to do well. And, I really just think, if in the world where corporations are going to have a corporate blockchain and they're going to have the company server and the whatever, and they're going to host their own shit and do their own whatever, it's all going to be private. That's that. And then the memers of the world, the private internet users like us are going to use the whatevers. Solana doesn't seem to be, Solana's issues don't seem to be gatekeeping those people away from doing stuff. So I ultimately, my updated opinion is I don't think that matters anymore. I think that regardless, they're still going to use it because nobody cares. It's too technical to get into that being a problem. More likely someone would get on there, make the wrong one, have a problem, complain about the problem. Maybe they get a solution, maybe they don't, but people having problems with technology is just sort of a staple of the industry. So, it's not necessarily a hot take just to say that the Solana NFT ecosystem is and remains, hot. Their meme coin culture remains hot. Their user base fervor remains high. They keep doing stuff. They're easily the best chain on the planet in terms of marketing and brand recognition. I mean, they're the only ones that have made a dedicated hardware device that came with an airdrop that to this day remains profitable. And now they're moving on to version 2 of their
Yeah, he's
hardware
talking about the phone. If you're sleeping
with
under
the
a rock,
phone. Yeah, I mean, so they're just absolutely
they're crushing.
dominating the social space. In terms of what other chains can do. There are more impressive technological advancements on other chains for sure.
Absolutely.
There is better security. There's more throughput. There, whatever. All of the metrics that you want to say matter the most in a blockchain are present elsewhere. And yet Solana has one thing that a lot of them don't have, which is probably the most important, and that is just the culture and the vibe.
And
So,
attention from
and the
people
attention.
who are coming new.
So I don't know. I look at it in a different light after kind of the last week or so with like doing some soul searching about, how do I really feel about Solana? And I still believe all of that is true. Just to tie myself up here. I believe all that is true, that there's better security, better advancements, better whatever, better consistency in other places. I don't think it matters anymore.
No, and I think the most important thing is that people are getting simpler onboarding experiences from the people who are talking about it. It's so easy for me to say to you, as somebody who's never done it, go to Magic Eden, check out NFTs, they're JPEGs,
Yeah.
um, and go play this game, or check out this meme coin, or use this wallet. What is the wallet that's big on Solana?
Phantom.
That's it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Phantom.
Yeah, the Phantom wallet. It's a great user experience. I had not used it in about a year when a couple weeks ago we were talking about it in the Discord, and I jumped on and I was like, "Oh, this is looking pretty nice. It's looking pretty spiffy." And this token extension thing is like a late development for them in the sense that, ETH's token extension library is, out the door and on the road already.
Yeah.
But because they're going to make it simple, they're going to make it easy. Some people, I think, will find this really valuable, and some people will be able to do more stuff with it. That community is going to be rabid about it. They're going to talk about it. I have noticed a lot of people. I don't know. I remember there was a time when people talked about Solana in a way that made me think it was the only layer two they knew.
Mhm.
It's so fast. It's so secure. It's so cheap. And I would say, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? This one does more transactions. This one does, Multiverse X. I used to tell people all the time, it has the coolest sharding infrastructure. And then there are even, L1s like Near, that do the same kind of thing, but I think better differently. Polkadot, I don't know. It goes to show you that attention really does matter a lot. And if it's coming from like a meme culture, it's coming from an NFT culture. I don't know. We tend to pick on that a lot because of the kind of value it prioritizes. But if it can lead to, in my opinion, if it can lead to, I'm like you, my opinion is open on it. They're doing a good job at what they're doing. If it can lead to interesting advancements in infrastructure and support cool use cases where people are actually taking tokens into the world, like, I'm here for it. I'm
Yeah.
so here for it. And especially if they're trying to move towards an open thing. They're the VC chain. But if the infrastructure is open at the base layer, people want to use it, I'm cool with that.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think there's too many things bombarding us regularly. That like we're doing something that could be better. Like you're not using the most efficient this, the most secure that, the most uh, environmentally friendly this, or the most ethical this, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's exhausting to just be like constantly bombarded with the idea that like you're not doing life well. And I think that extends into blockchain as well. That ultimately, like what's going to probably succeed in the long term is the thing that is just like easy and has fun shit and has good games and just sort of vibes. Like it's not going to be perfect, but it's like the end of the show The Good Place, right? You
Yeah,
get
you
you get
told me to
to
watch the end of it, but I haven't yet.
you
I gotta
definitely
watch
have
it.
to, but it's just the idea of like you got a person who thinks they're doing a good job by like getting this they have I don't know, a nonprofit that they work at and they're at the food bank or whatever, but they also bought a cell phone. And that cell phone was built by child slaves in a third world Southeast Asian country. And it's like, you didn't even intentionally make that decision, but you did. And, your money is propping up that cobalt mine or whatever. It's just fucking exhausting.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to tell you about Solana that's happening is Magic Eden just announced its rewards program. So people who are looking for like a low-hanging fruit way to try and find an airdrop. Obviously, we don't know, this isn't confirmed yet, but they have a feature called Diamonds. And a lot of our friends here will know that when Blur launched last year, there was a lot of attention around accumulating points by buying, selling, trading NFTs. And the people who had the most points, they got more tokens in an airdrop that happened on Blur and was worth, a considerable amount of money for your attention. And Magic Eden, which is a marketplace, is relying on dollars, but they trade on attention too. So it's very probable that they'll be distributing diamonds based on past activity, future activity projections. Do you have a Magic Eden wallet? Those kind of things. And if you're looking for how to get active in that kind of an ecosystem, the Solana ecosystem, there are a ton of great places to go on Twitter. We can talk about it in the Discord for sure. But right now, we got to get a Phoebe update. How you doing, Phoebes? What you looking around for? I have to tell you, I got to meet Phoebe, and she is as soft as she looks. And that's a great time to tell you, if you aren't interested in learning about that stuff, you want to see a link or a resource that we can't share here because of the limitations of TikTok, join us in the Discord at discord.gg/the many. The general chat there is an easy place for us to kind of share conversation around this stuff. I saw a great thread summarizing this from Whale, prolific on Twitter, somebody whose opinion is worth listening to, if only because he spends his time all day every day looking at this stuff. If you're interested in airdrops, I'll post it there later. How's Phoebe this morning? Oh, he said 1 more second. I bet Alex is doing some dog feeding. While he's doing that, I am going to tell you too, hi again. I see all my friends here. Good to see you. If you're new and you have a question about crypto, you're curious, you're concerned about it, it's something that we're talking too much inside baseball on, we have a tendency to do that. Let us know where your interest is. If there's a place we can slow down, zoom in for you. And there's no such thing as a dumb question. We are so happy to answer any question here that would add value for you, Alex and I. We do this every day, and we just think it's fun to talk about. Alex, are you back in the land of the talking?
Yeah, there was just barking, and I was going to start trying to feed them, but Christina just got home, so
with her shiny teeth, I hope.
Yes.
Good.
But no, I was also going to say, Evan, the insensitivity in your asking a blind dog what she's looking at, just something to think about.
You can look with your body. You can look with your energy. She was looking.
Yesterday, she was chewing on something and she rolled it away from her a little bit, and Kirby just came up and took it. And imagine, had to shame him a little bit. Imagine stealing a treat from a blind puppy.
Ruthless.
He was waiting like a hawk, waiting to swoop in and steal it too.
Oh my God, that's so sad. Can I get your opinion on some of these things? I wanted to. I noticed some Bitcoin numbers, and I wanted to get your opinion on them, because this is not talking about price specifically, but it is talking about like the economics of Bitcoin, and I just thought you'd have a good take, and all of you too. Everybody in the comments, I feel like Angel might have a good thought, Tom might have a good thought on this. So Bitcoin is hovering right around the $40,000 mark. We're not so worried about price; it'll go up over time, kind of thing. But I saw somebody just on Twitter throwing a bunch of numbers up. There wasn't really a ton of analysis. Here's what the numbers were. So the grayscale, first of all, let me set this up. Bitcoin as a commodity for ETFs is like the second largest right now. This is in terms of like volume, but net volume is like going out. $106 million in outflow for the ETFs yesterday. So we also have the fear and greed index going down. It's at a 100-day low of 48. The Grayscale Bitcoin Trust outflows have started to kind of slow, and there are some on-chain metrics that suggest that whales are accumulating good old Bitcoin. So there's all this kind of really interesting stuff that's happening in and around the market that's influencing all that. The stock market is kind of doing this. Gold is kind of doing this. All these macro events. And the price is just kind of, for the last week or so. And I'm just really curious, I feel like people don't know what to do with regard to the ETF. I feel like everyone's still talking about the halving as if it's going to be this totally catastrophic, chaotic event. And yet, the most interesting of all of it to me is, the whales are accumulating. I think we've talked about this before. Anybody who...
They usually are.
I mean, yeah, right. Anybody who believes in the prospect of Bitcoin is going to be buying Bitcoin, especially when the price goes down. Mm-hmm. But just like I said, some interesting stuff. And I wanted to get your pulse on some of that. Is this what you expect to see? Does any of it cause concern for you? What do you think Jim Cramer's thinking about at night? You know.
I can't begin to imagine what Jim Cramer thinks about at night.
I think he looks at Dave Ramsey and wonders, what does that guy have that I don't? That's what I think. I think they secretly have a rivalry.
Which one of them has more hair?
Yeah, a bald spot on top.
Yeah, I mean, look, I might be a bad reading of when to or to not be concerned about Bitcoin, because I've been here for long enough to where I haven't cared what the price of a single crypto asset is in a long time. And I used to see a headline or a tweet that was like red day, green day, whatever, and immediately go to the markets and then check a portfolio and then, do I need to buy something? Should I sell something? Whatever. And now I'm like, oh, 20%? Okay. And just on to the next piece of my, I'm very jaded. So I'm not concerned about any of it because I think Bitcoin is Bitcoin. Bitcoin's here. I think that anyone who saw this and thought this has the potential to grow and then didn't also think that giant companies were going to try to own a large chunk of it, you were kidding yourself.
Yeah.
So this is exactly where I expected it to go. And if you want to see the best breakdown I've seen in a TikTok video about this, go look up. I don't know what his handle still is if he changed it, but Alex Costa, World War
Bitcoin.
Yeah, is it still World War Bitcoin?
I'm double checking and we'll confirm for you.
Anyway, it's Alex Costa. He's live constantly. He's a solid. I like him a lot. I'm getting some yeses. Anyway, he posted a video yesterday or the day before, kind of outlining, the Bitcoin landscape now post ETF. I also like to give Alex shit because he, like Evan, I'm pretty sure is filming and streaming off of an iPhone potato. And
yeah, totally.
It's just really funny that these two cavemen are thought leaders in a tech niche, and they're using a cell phone from the 1700s. But anyway, he had a great table and breakdown, and one of the things that I didn't realize until I saw his video was that the fee for trading Bitcoin within the trust, the Grayscale Trust, even post conversion to ETF, is still 1.5%, which is way higher than all of the other ones. We're talking 0.2 to 0.3% for the other ones. So he was just noting that the outflows there flowing into the other ones makes sense, and we expect to see more of that, because why would you own it within the confines of something with such an outrageously higher fee than the other ones, right? It just doesn't make any sense. So that was an interesting point. Two, just to say that whales accumulating is par for the course. They're always accumulating. Whether you see them doing it or not, they know how blockchain works. These are smart individuals. They're not making $100 million buys on their one wallet that people know about. They have a gajillion wallets spread out all over the place, and they're holding their Bitcoin in tons of different wallets all over. And they're doing micro buys and micro sells because they know that it moves, whatever. Dude, show me a crypto content creator who has made a price prediction. They've all been wrong. This is my caveat. Whenever I tell you to that someone had a good information piece about something, I'm not talking about a price that they predicted, because all price predictions just come straight out of people's asses, and they mean
it drives me nuts when people say, even people I respect and admire, I called this, or if you were following me, you would see when with regards to a price. Nothing makes me want to just lovingly
unfollow,
squeeze someone more.
No, it's if you don't know, Evan saying lovingly squeeze is the same thing as me saying beat the shit out of.
Yeah.
So no, dude, if anyone has ever said, you did poorly for yourself by not following me because whatever, so many of them do it, and it's an immediate, that's an ick. There's my ick. If you're a creator and you have ever said, if only you had been following me, you would have known. No, bitch, sit down. I hate that so much. You're shaming your audience for not being on you more often. They don't have shit to do. And plus you always conveniently skip over all the bad calls you made. Okay, I made 18 price predictions and one of them was good. What about the other 17?
Yeah, and you started this by talking about whales too, in terms of the influence they have spread about. If you are not making hundreds of millions of dollars in trading, I really don't think of you as good at trading. I mean, we have some friends who are great at charts, great at trading, and do teach helpful things. But I find the people who are actually really good at that are often very quiet about it, and also are the least likely to make predictions that say this will happen. They have three options. They tell you what they think is likely, and then explain each one, and almost always say, of course, none of this could happen. I guess we'll find out. And when it does,
Ken is the best example of that.
Ken's great. Yeah.
Ken has made his living from day trading for more than 10 years, and that man has never made a price prediction one single time.
Look at Tori's comment, too. That's exactly how they do it. And Ken, he's a golden example. And, I mean, even, I don't know, Magic Internet Money will say, here's my target. But I don't know that I've ever seen him say, no. He talks about the kind of wins people are able to generate by learning to trade or learning to chart, but it's never if you followed me, if you heard this call.
No, Hagen's not, it's a very different kind of thing. Someone who is just posting trend analysis is very different than someone being oh, I see this is an easy 100x. Right. This crypto is going to 10x. Oh, if only you've been watching my content last week, you would have known that I called that. It's a dime a dozen, right? We're back in the bull market. I'm going to say right now, I'm going to go on record and say in the next 5 years, some crypto is going to go up in price and some of it's going to go down. Let's come back to that in a year. I called it.
I don't know that I've heard you say with that kind of conviction, we're back in the bull market yet. Was that an Alex statement, or were you paraphrasing the influencers?
I was paraphrasing. Yeah. No, I maintain that it's way too early to tell. And plus, historically, with what little data we do have, the halving year is usually pretty uneventful.
Yeah. I wanted to say, I was going to say one last thing about it, and it's left me. Those angels sent those lightning bolts, and it was very kind, and then I forgot. Thank you.
No, I distracted myself from the broader Bitcoin take. So
we're talking about Bitcoin. Yeah.
So whales are always accumulating. I was just going to add to that it makes sense to me that in the now present landscape of Bitcoin, where the ETF exists, and theoretically, people who want to purchase shares of the ETF through whatever investment entity is hosting the one that they use, it would make sense to me that more people who see that as the bullish indicator for the space that it is would go about getting their own Bitcoin, owning raw Bitcoin. That's got to be, we got to start making, that's got to be a thing, dude. Just raw, just own it raw.
Raw Bitcoin. Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, that would be a great campaign for somebody like Michael Saylor to, I don't know, to
Yeah.
run for people. Although he'd probably say, buy our Bitcoin. But
There you go. Michael Saylor, use raw Bitcoin and send me a royalty check, please. Um,
um,
but so I just think it makes sense. It makes sense that they're buying. Every time Jamie Dimon goes on TV and says Bitcoin is a pile of shit, just know that he's buying it. He's secretly buying it with a bunch of his little burner wallets and his people spread out all over the place. Like, no one who doesn't own it would go on TV and talk about Bitcoin as much as he does. Uh, hey man, if you're still just loading up on XRP, more power to you. I admire your conviction, but couldn't be me. Um, I just I that's a fun conversation, Evan, is to have the XRP conversation, because I have like zero issue with XRP at all. Like, I think the use case speaks for itself. It makes perfect sense. It's probably a project that really deserves to exist. They do good things. They don't really have any problems, right? Like, they're not getting hacked and exploited on a regular basis. The company withstood an absolute just bullshit barrage from the SEC. Like, all kinds of things, support the argument for XRP existing, right? Like, it's a non-bullshit utility that people actually would use.
Robbie
However,
says it's better than the Bank of England.
However, my qualifier there is that, like, in order for it to truly realize its mission, it simply can't skyrocket in price. It just that just wouldn't make any sense. No government is going to use it to move huge amounts of money internationally if during the span of them purchasing it and then making the move, because they're not going to impulse do this. No government is going to impulsively move $100 billion to another country, right? Like, that's a thing that needs to be voted on, and you got to set it up and then prepare the transaction and blah 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 blah. Like, there's a ton of people involved. Whether it's on a blockchain or not, there's a gajillion people involved in that move. So if you imagine the prep phase where they like get it and then go to move it and then finish the transaction and do all that, right? They can't take the risk that it's going to depreciate by 10% in the time that they do that. That would make absolutely no sense. So that right there is an argument against the idea that it's going to be a hyper volatile thing that's going to just rocket to the moon or whatever. It's an argument for the token to be converted to a stable coin, if anything.
Well, here's my thing too, is I think Ripple, the company, is making big plays in terms of infrastructure development. They have the money, they have the attention. I was
Yeah.
just listening to a Bloomberg crypto podcast the other day, so about as corporate as it gets. And one of the commercials was for a Davos summit, TradFi, econ,
The
big
summit,
business.
yes. The
And
World Economic Forum.
one of the sponsors was Ripple,
Yep.
and they were sponsoring a whole like lounge. Come hang out. I think they were sponsoring it with Bloomberg, so they are definitely angling in that direction. And I also see what Robbie said, something about I put my profits in it instead of paying fees. I think I'm seeing more and more infrastructure around trying to keep your assets online. Everybody talks about taking profits, turning your crypto into cash. Something I see in the XRP kind of community is this phenomenon of on-chain everything. And it's going to be the gateway to on-chain everything. It's going to be the feeless gateway. It's going to be where your identity lives. And so for my money, I absolutely think they're going to have the architecture so that if you're Visa, if you're whoever, you can settle your own payments. We're going to have 3 stable coins you can choose from. They're all going to look like this. And I do think some of that will increase the value of XRP by network effects. But what drives me nuts mostly, and who knows if they'll be successful or not in their business mission. I think they have a lot of other interesting drawbacks to their business model. But for me, it's like I don't have the attention. There's so much stuff happening in so many places. What baffles me the most about the XRP army, I'll say, is the attention of day by day. Um, I would go nuts if I was looking at price up and down, buying, selling, thinking about it, talking about it in just one place all the time. I don't hold XRP right now, but if I was somebody who believed in that value
Yeah, but
proposition, I would just buy it and then go forget about it.
but
You know?
that's you in your shoes looking at it objectively from your current point of view, not necessarily the same way that someone who like this is their whole personality, and this is not unique to XRP, right? Because the Solana people are the same way, the ETH maxes are the same way, the Bitcoin maxes are the same way, the Cardano maxes are the same way. Like it's this like fervent belief that you have found the promised land, and you just are so angry and frustrated that more people don't realize that you're right. You know, it's religious at this point.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, of course unhealthy, but you know, it's the way that it is. And there's no like big glaring problem with XRP that would cause you to say like, you cannot like look at it and be like, that's a scam. It's not, right? Like
No,
it's
of course not.
maybe they're not going to be successful, but it's not going to be because they rug pulled everybody.
Yeah.
Of course, now
Yeah.
that I just said that, tomorrow's headline is going to be David rugs everyone after all these years and moves
Be
to
like, well, we were wrong.
um,
Follow us. We were wrong.
but the last point that I wanted to bring up about XRP is just if you want proof, it's not object proof, like of course, but evidence. Not proof. If you want evidence,
Like that.
that Ripple is smart. That Ripple knows that their utility needs to have a particular environment to work. People talk about it all the time, but they don't really talk about the nuance behind it. How much of the token is routinely released into the ecosystem by the governing entity? Quite a bit, right? I forget what the figure is, but it's like a lot per month of XRP.
I don't know. Let me see if I can.
But that is the behavior of someone trying to prevent volatility. That is a price suppression.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the supply is routinely increasing, and as of this point, the demand is not. So it's meant to keep it healthy and keep it stable because they want their giant corporate partners to look at them as safe. Because if they're looked at as unsafe or sketchy or unpredictable, that's bad. Even if that unpredictable is because it keeps spiking or going way up or making a new all-time high and then correcting by 60%. Like, if you want some evidence that Ripple knows exactly what they're doing with regards to trying to set themselves up for success and not necessarily their investors up for success, maybe to the tune of like a 1 to 8% gain here and there or something like that. They don't care about that. Why would they? They're shooting for a quadrillion dollar market, entry with their utility. And in order for them to do that, it can't be a hyper volatile asset or it would never be picked to do that. I mean, no government would look at that and be like, no, I'm just going to get some engineers and make my own blockchain. Like that's a million times safer. Why wouldn't they do that?
Yeah, Robbie is right that it's about $1 billion a month, but they sometimes lock tokens back instead of selling them, and it's all to do exactly what you're describing. They're working to do what they can. This company, this private company, to control the supply. If I honestly am not in a good position to speculate on what somebody like the World Bank is thinking, but it seems to me that it wouldn't be logical for anybody anywhere who is like a financial steward to trust another company somewhere who has that kind of control when they, like Alex said, can just do their own. I have seen a lot of those companies who used the, XRP ledger, who used XRP, who are in bed with Ripple. They're launching their own blockchains, kind of like dominoes.
So South Florida High, I would agree that like investing in Ripple, the company, via the stock market makes way more sense to me than buying the XRP token. So like I would agree that to me that seems the more sensible like route if you're an investor that's trying to like grow wealth and see something potentially more volatile. And this is not to say that XRP can't go up. I'm just saying that like if it goes up a lot, it's going to be counterproductive for their mission and it's going to hurt their utility in the long term. I don't want this to come across as me saying that the price of XRP can never go up because I'm not qualified
Yeah.
to make that assessment
No.
at all. I don't want it to come across as if I'm like bashing on them because I have no issue with it. I mean, go back. I've got videos from more than a year, 2 years ago, where I'm like, I'm personally not interested in XRP, but like, it's a fine project. It's just my opinion, which is why I don't share it. With the same fervor of like something I believe to be bad or corrupt or a scam or whatever.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like I don't buy Hex either. It's for a very different reason than why I don't buy XRP.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think good for you, South Florida. If you're hedging your bets, like that's if you believe in the future of a company and an instrument they're using, it makes complete sense that you would do both. And that's one of the great things about crypto is like, I don't know, they could release three more tokens, that company could, and they could all have different functions, non-fungible tokens to track your purchases, your behavior over time. I mean, there are lots of things that tokens through like XRP could enable and probably will enable. Um,
I mean,
if Ripple
you would
wants to.
have to be delusional and just a hater for no reason to look at Ripple or look at XRP and be like, that's a garbage project.
Yeah,
You know,
they honestly, I would say, Alex, do you know much about the Hyperledger specifically?
um, a little bit only because we were potentially going to consult with someone when they were going to be building on XRPL, and I think Angel just mentioned something, so I pulled up just a page to the EVM compatible XRPL sidechain.
I'd like to learn more about it because I did the same kind of thing as you, just like a minimal. Let me catch back up again, and I think they do some really novel, cool stuff um, that is very functional. They're what's it called? It might be on there. It's like a world ID, a global ID. It's like your blockchain token ID
Mm-hmm.
that they do. I
Yeah,
forget what it's called, but I thought it was pretty cool.
I mean, I'll say again and a million times that I have zero issue. I think they're doing cool shit. I think you
Yeah.
can't look at them and be like they're not a prominent like just leader in the space. They carried the whole industry with them through the SEC bullshit.
Yeah.
And I thought they represented themselves well. You never like logged in to read a news update about that case and saw just some outlandish dumb shit from Ripple. It was always just like, nope, we're playing your game. We're winning, but we're playing your game.
Yeah.
And that's admirable. I mean, we're all you should be rooting for them, regardless of whether or not you're a fan of the XRP token or whatever.
Can I make a totally unrelated aside from a text message I just got? I want your opinion on.
Obviously.
Okay, I'm in a band. I'm in an '80s band. We're like pre-launch, pre-IPO. We're still rehearsing, and the guitar player,
Where's
he's
the
he's
token dropping?
yeah, right. What's token? When band token? The band is called the Breakfast Club, which is an iconic name for an '80s band. I'm here for it. And we have this group chat. And one of our members was doing another performance the other day. And she had been like, hey, can everyone come out and support? We'd love it to see you. And immediately I was like, okay, yeah, I'll try my best. Uh, Everyone else was like, yeah, we're going, we're going, we're going. I was the only one who showed up. And last night, one of our members, I won't name names, I don't think he's on TikTok. He texts us like last minute and he's like, oh shoot, I can't come. My girlfriend fell going out of the house and I gotta take her to the ER. Which, if it's true, so sad. But then we
Right.
got this picture that was like her swollen ankle. He's like, ankle is swollen. And then like we got another update that was like ankle was broken in two places. And I might go to hell for this, just like for saying that Phoebe should look at something. But I just something about the frequency and the specificity and the highly detailed nature of the updates made me like, is this guy lying? Is he like putting an ankle brace on his girlfriend and making her do like calf raises to swell it up? Like, is this real? Is this really her? I don't know. It just came across. He sent us another update. Like nobody, we love her. I don't know her, never met her. Obviously, I'm concerned for her ankle, but it was like so suspicious. It was so sketchy. He was like the number
Yeah,
one guy who was like, I'm gonna be there.
someone's just doubling down just super hard unnecessarily. Like
Yeah,
wouldn't have
like I
questioned
don't know.
was
It's
like,
just
hey, shit,
suspicious
this
to
one
me.
thing
It's
happened.
suspicious.
Yeah,
It's nothing to do with anything, but it raises a red flag.
that's
Robbie asked what's the playlist or what's my favorite song. So I'll just tell you that quick, and then we can bump back. Is It's like new wave pop and rock from the 80s. So we do Rebel Yell, Don't You Forget About Me, Heartbreaker by Pat Benatar, 99 Red Balloons. We might do Everybody Have Fun Tonight. We might do Sledgehammer by, what's his name, Peter Gabriel.
Freebird.
Missing You by John Waite. Did you say Freebird?
Freebird.
Freebird. I think, is Freebird an 80s song? We don't know Freebird.
I don't know.
We'll do like Prince. We'll do,
you got to play it.
We got to play Freebird.
It's the quintessential, like some half-drunk redneck will yell Freebird at any band playing in any venue where there's.
I had a friend who in high school learned Freebird real early and young for that purpose, and I still remember one day somebody called it out, and he just like started ripping it.
1973 is when Freebird came out.
Yeah, so if you've got 80 songs, feel free to leave them in the comments, or follow along here. You can leave them with your crypto questions, and maybe I'll post a clip in the Discord of like I say, we're still rehearsing, and it's a lot of good tunes. I wasn't much of an 80s guy in terms of, it wasn't my favorite era for music, but now I'm like, I'm really digging a lot of the songs. I've really started to like Duran Duran more since hanging out with this band, playing their songs. Really good music. Eyes Without a Face, great song. There are a lot of 80s fans on TikTok too. I feel like we got a lot of elder millennials and Gen Xers here. Just kind of, the Gen Xers are kind of quiet, but then when they come out, I'm like, oh.
I'm very bad at pinpointing like which decade or which specific era a song or a band came out, because it just have this, I guess, very like eclectic music taste. I was telling, when Evan was here, I was telling him the story about just like the music that I grew up with. And then when I was in first grade, we had this like little party thing, and every kid got to bring one song, and like me and my parents were at home, and I vividly remember my mom asking me like, what song do you want to bring? You got to pick a song. And I was torn between, so every boy in my class brought the Backstreet Boys, and every girl brought the Spice Girls. And then I was torn between bringing Susudio by Phil Collins, or this like Pavarotti opera aria sung by this Italian tenor that we just like listened to during dinner a lot. And then Ace is High by Iron Maiden. And my dad was like, well, let's not bring Iron Maiden, because it's like a very violent. So I brought Susudio by Phil Collins at 6 years old.
Probably the tamest choice. Probably the choice that was going to be least likely to make the other kids beat you up.
I think that's why why my parents pushed me in the direction to bring Phil Collins. But it was I'll never forget. Like that's a core memory, is the look on my teacher's face when I handed him the Phil Collins album, and it was like track number 6. Yeah. No, sorry. The track number on that album is 1 for. Speak of the devil. There's my mom.
There she is. Alex with his eclectic music. Yeah, that. But like, given your family, and even just like your personality, as I know you, like a man of many tastes. So unsurprised. I'm so unsurprised by that. We would. I echo Tori's comment. We would all gotten along in school. I was listening to, loved. Like Van Halen was my first favorite band, but also loved Simon and Garfunkel. Absolutely loved them. Like and other like soft folky people that were like the opposite of Van Halen. I was not as big into classical music, except I liked my mom occasionally would do classical piano, and I really enjoyed a lot of classical piano tunes.
There's a couple specifics in that world that I've always enjoyed a lot, but the like prominent players in my early childhood music scene was Iron Maiden, Pearl Jam, Phil Collins. There was a lot of Carly Simon and James Taylor. My mom's I don't know, Mom, I don't know if you still listen to her, but Carole King was another prominent figure.
Carole King's great.
Some classics there, and then I said we used to listen to this oldies channel in Nashville, 96.3. And,
did you ever listen to Weird Al? Tori posted it below, and I did not listen to a ton of Weird Al, but I had a friend. It sounds like it might be like Tori, for whom Weird Al was like a personality. It was like their favorite was Weird Al. They went to see Weird Al like 3 times.
Have you seen the
Um,
movie?
Weird Al's got a movie. Is it called Weird Al the movie?
It's what is it called? It's with Daniel Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe is. Oh
He's
no, where he plays Weird Al. No,
yeah.
I didn't see it.
Oh,
I wanted to. I thought it looked actually really good.
Weird Al makes an appearance in the movie,
It
of course.
in his own movie, yeah, absolutely.
It's a fantastic movie. Daniel Radcliffe is awesome. I highly recommend it. I don't remember what it's called. Christina could tell me what it's called.
I have to check it out. Um, don't let me forget. I told Robbie. He asked, "Can we play it out with Thunderstruck?" When we leave the show today, I will play Thunderstruck. Dum, dum. I
On
have
that,
I have some friends who used to do a drinking game to that song. Maybe it's a big drinking game that people like to do. But I'm pretty sure when they say thunder, you start to drink, and you're supposed to drink until they say it again, and then you, and then there's like another one. I don't remember what it is. There's like rules, but it's intense.
on that note, Evan, do you have anything you want to cover before we move to wrap it up?
No, I the only thing I want to talk about is maybe want to talk about it with you, and we can just have it publicly here. Alex and I were talking about doing some more shows. What are you thinking? You want to do 3 a week? You want to do 5 a week?
Dude,
What's your capacity looking like? And let us know. Would you join us for a wrap up like this? I feel like we would end up, like I said to Alex last time, we could do more like theme weeks where today's conversation flows into tomorrow. It might be overwhelming for some people in terms of like, I can't come to all of them, but it would be better in the sense that, you
so
could
I
show up
mean,
Monday, you could show up Friday, that's fine.
yeah, it'd
Um,
be better. It'd be better option, like so someone could do the Wednesday one or whatever, but then
yeah,
so just to fill everyone in, there's a couple reasons. One, like as we're trying to, you know, grow this and do a better job and make a case to get sponsored in some capacity, being able to like say that it's more frequent and reaches more people per week is a good thing for our metric. So that's helpful. And if an average of 6 to 8 thousand people or 4 to 8 thousand people or whatever shows up, periodically throughout one entire broadcast, to be able to say that 5 days a week is just way more impressive. Um, Again, then there's a couple different ways that we talked about potentially taking it. So one, we could just add one more and go to 3 a week and then see if that worked, and then go to 4 week, 5 week, whatever. Or we could flip the time, because we've also loosely talked about doing like an evening show one time and just seeing if that time slot like works or does anything. So that's an option. Or we could just balls to the wall 5 a week every morning at this time during the weekdays, whatever. And then if that just ended up being super popular, then maybe some like evening weekend edition once in a while or something like that could enter the conversation. But I don't know that I have super strong feelings about it one way or the other. I would happily do it every morning, and maybe do a better job of like keeping it concise and like, nope, we're here for 1 hour, from 8 to 9 or whatever it is, and call that. But I don't know. I'm open.
I like the idea of doing a different time slot, but I feel like it would be hard for me to commit to. We've talked about doing an evening show for a while,
It's
um,
tough. There's
but
just so
it's
much
it's tough
going
for me
on
to
then.
commit to doing it like regularly with certainty that this will be the time. Um,
Yeah. Yep. I
Maybe we
agree.
can make it like an event thing. And the other thing, I like, Angel saying we could do airdrops. I wish Lives had whiteboards. Oh my gosh, I wish that too. I wish Lives had a lot. I wish Lives had an invite a guest feature who didn't have 1,000 followers, so we could
If we
interview anybody.
we got to start the weekly PO app though, like or
Yeah, a weekly POAP. Yeah, definitely a weekly POAP. Weekly themed. We talk about airdrops. Weekly POAP. Um, Let me write that down because I will forget it. Um, but what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I think my thought is, let's do weekday mornings. It's easy for me to do weekday mornings. Do we have this in a shared Docker sheet? No, not necessarily one that's public, but the one we have behind the scenes, we could certainly make it public and put it in the,
that's a
Discord
cool idea.
for people to comment on. I'd be cool with that. Would you be cool with that? Maybe we
Yeah.
could have like a third tab that's like public. That way nobody's like writing like fart jokes on our like spreadsheet. But maybe we could have like a public sheet or a public tab and invite collaborators.
You can make a read-only link public to a Google Doc, and we just keep it, updated with links we discussed or whatever. That would be an easier place to like, share a rotating list of like things that we're talking about or doing or whatever.
Yeah, and the other thing I was thinking about, Alex, did you see our conversation? I haven't checked our messages since yesterday. Have you seen our talk with Michael in the Discord?
No.
Oh, Tori said just for us. Yeah, we have a spreadsheet we might share. But okay, so check this out. So our friend and colleague Michael Shoup, has started a new company called Podcrafter. And the premise is he's created the AI workflow so that you can turn your pre-existing content, thought leadership, whether it's a book, whether it's a newsletter, whether it's TikTok videos, or a speech you gave one time, into a podcast using AI from start to finish. And I absolutely had to tell you about it because I listened to this podcast, which is just AI Michael going through some news in the creator economy. The podcast is called Creator Daily. I will post it in our Discord. But just Google it. It's Creator Daily by Podcrafter, like Podcraft, all one word with the letter R at the end. It's about 10 minutes, and he's using transcripts from, his whatever to create a show around like how creators can make money on YouTube, or like what Mr. Beast is doing, or why Google's war on spam matters to you, or relevant topics. And what I was thinking, Alex, is, man, as much as I'd love to put our show on like Apple, it's something that is just sucks for me is downloading the file from TikTok, taking the file anywhere else, and posting it like 3 or 4 places with the description. But I was talking to Michael about how cool would it be to have AI Evan and AI Alex doing a 10-minute here are the crypto headlines podcast. But if you want to like hang out with us and go through the news together, join us on TikTok. I think we could reach a lot of people that way. It would be kind of fun to have our AI.
I would very, very badly want to get like regular synopsis style content of this on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
More than any other place.
Yeah, and my thing is just, like I can take it and put it on YouTube, but so much of what we do is not very evergreen. It's daily stuff.
It in its entirety is not really curated for that platform for,
Which is my other gripe for, yeah, Tori said I need the other days for sure. It will be up by the end of the week, and I will ping you. That's my other gripe about TikTok is they don't make it easy to go multiple places. I get it. Attention is their revenue. But that was kind of my final thought to share with people was check out the Podcrafter podcast, because you can find Michael online by searching Michael Shoup, which is like shout, but with a P instead of a T. And when you hear Michael and then you hear AI Michael, it's wild. AI Michael sounds like he could be competing for a job as an NPR broadcaster. Honestly, he's a better broadcaster than Michael. And I don't mean Michael's a delightful person who I love with my whole heart and think is wonderful to listen to. But AI Michael is fantastic. So check it out. It's a really cool, and I think he is offering the service for like $100 or a couple $100 a month to businesses. So if you're a business or a thought leader and you want a podcast like that they just make for you every day automatically, you should check it out. It's wild.
There's
Podcrafter. I'll put it in the chat.
The emergence of more AI stuff is getting pretty crazy. The Samsung, I forget what the name of was it CES? It just happened.
Yeah.
All of the big tech people were at the conference, and the Samsung Galaxy S24 was revealed. And just the amount of AI features baked into that flagship is pretty impressive. Basically, I think integrated with Bard through Google, all the Google stuff. So anytime there's like an opportunity to include like an AI piece, there's like the little star and you click it and it'll do like whatever. So if it's assistant, like calendar scheduling, document creating, writing, content filling, photo editing, it's pretty incredible. I was just saying the other day that I have a Samsung Galaxy. One of the ultras, the S21. And I was just like, I'm reaching, like multiple years of having this thing, and it hasn't declined at all. And I'm like really impressed.
Must be
Uh,
nice.
Evan, I'm telling you, dude, you got to get a phone. You got to get a phone from this century. I'm telling you. Um, but anyway, I was commenting like I have no need to go get the new one right now because like mine is fine. Battery life is still all day, and the thing is a workhorse. But I'm not gonna lie, all the new shit in the 24, I'm like real tempted by. It looks pretty sweet. I would definitely like to mess around with it.
Man, I am glad for you. I'm glad for you that you have a phone that works how you want it to. I was whipping mine out last night to take pictures of the band, and it was like even using the camera, it was like lagging and freezing. I was like, come on. It just hurts my feelings. I will, it's on my list. It's on my list. Help us, find a home for the show with a sponsor that you love, so that I can get the new phone fund up and running.
You just give a shout out to the companies that we would like to sponsor us.
That's right. That's right.
It's just Chewy. Chewy, come on. I am your
That's so good.
ultimate spokesperson.
Honestly, he's not wrong. And probably if somebody makes like a biodegradable poop bag, that would also be a good fit.
Those exist.
Yeah, I've heard they do. Tori says, "Why don't you upgrade?" Honestly, because
Yeah.
I'm cheap.
Yeah.
I'm so cheap. Yeah, and Tori, on our spreadsheet, kind of the nature of the document, I honestly need to go back and combine documents and update it. But we have, like a show flow. We've got ideas for sponsors, um, and we're interested in soliciting many different kinds of sponsorships too. So if you have ideas for the kinds of sponsorships, whether that is an affiliate sponsorship, an in-kind thing, whatever, um, we're open and flexible to that, and we would love to, partner with all kinds of different people. It doesn't have to be crypto related. Anybody whose stuff you guys find valuable. I saw Rose. You got a company. Maybe we could talk about your product. I don't know. We want to make it work for people, make it good for the show, not make it like a big, I don't know,
Yeah.
capital sellout thing, but help reach more people with good information. So we might have to post that spreadsheet, and then
That is a good idea, Tori. I mean, dude, the pitch to get a phone manufacturer to sponsor you with a new device is so easy because you're a content creator who would then create content on the phone and talk about it. Like it's an easy ask to get a company to send you a phone, you know.
you might
And
get one of those salon phones.
dude, anything is better than what you're using.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. Well, I'm well met. Do you have any last minute final thoughts, good jokes, words of wisdom?
No, just thanks to everybody for hanging out, for being here. All of you being here makes it easier for us to make the case to a sponsor to pick us up. Um, Evan and I are not big fans of trying to ask you guys for money, except to buy a mug. You should buy a mug because they're dope. But no, I think it's a fun twist to just like, I know I'm talking about it a lot, but I just want to be like full frontal about the fact that like we really enjoy doing this, but it's like it's not, yeah, it's not like economically beneficial at this point. I would like to do this more because this sparks joy, and I would like to be paid to do it. That would be really cool.
Yeah,
And
and
literally, the only thing all of you need to do is just like literally be here and just be eyeballs. But your attention is
well,
valuable. Time is
don't just
valuable.
be
So,
eyeballs. Like hang out with us.
well, yeah,
But
you know what I mean.
you know what I mean.
That's the metrics are what the potential sponsoring companies care about. But I mean, hey, if there is like a thing that you guys routinely, that's Tori brings up a good point about like using a code because that's a way easier ask is like to get an affiliate code with someone rather than just like get money to talk about them. If there's like a service like Chewy, if people, I mean, straight up, Chewy, I would love for you to pay me, but you don't have to for me to say that auto ship is amazing and all my dog food is on auto ship. Um, like that would be great. If there's a service that like a lot of people use, then that would be an easier
Yeah.
pitch. Like, just get our users to, or our viewers to like swap over and use this affiliate code to do their thing that they're already doing anyway. That way, no one has to spend any extra money that they don't, and maybe you can even wrangle a discount of some sort because I know that's a thing.
Yeah, let
That,
me work on getting something like that in a spreadsheet this weekend. That would be a great thing to do in the Discord. Is
yeah,
like nominate your favorite product, service, company. What's something you use? That's a powerful way we can show up. Is to say, hey, here's this micro community of this growing community of people who want your dog food, want your cell phone, want your whatever. We want to make it valuable to you guys. So if we can help you in that way by leveraging attention to, I don't know, save you $5 on something you're going to pay for anyway, obviously we want to do it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, yeah. Anyway,
and if you're like not done with the conversation, let me say this by way of closing, because I see some people chatting back and forth. Then what are you doing? Go get the Discord app if you don't have it already. It can be a little intimidating to use it first, like every app in the world. It's got a this and a that, but once you get up to speed, it's free. It's simple to keep track of conversations with many different people at once, the way Facebook Messenger never could be. And we have a great community over there, the Faceless Many, at discord.gg/the-many. We talk about everything over there related to cryptocurrency, technology, investing. Somebody shares a cool news story, and we keep up with each other too. It's always going to be free, and you can find it at discord.gg/the-many. The many. When we get this spreadsheet ready, I'll put it there. So feel free to say hi in the general chat. Alex and I are both in there. Tori's in there. Rose is in there. We hang out there. And of course, if you've got questions for us before next Tuesday, leave them on our videos. Leave them in Discord. Robbie, I hope this is hitting your AC/DC fix. And I think that's it for me. Thank you all for being here, my friends. Thank you, Alex, for being here with me. We'll keep you posted on when we start updating the schedule, but unless you hear something from us, we'll be back Tuesday. Until then, my friends, rise up.